Okay, John, this is your transmission all tore apart here on the bench here. This is Jeff,
Hi, John.
our on-site rebuilder. And I'll just start with showing you what we found when we did the pan examination. You can see in the pan here, this is the round magnet I talked to you about, and it just looks like a chia pet growing here, and you can see all the debris in the fluid and in the pan. So Jeff, if you want to explain to them where that metal came from and what needs to be done?
Yeah. John, these are called servo pistons, or hydraulically actuated pistons that apply the bands. And they're both of these are broken. This particular piston is for the 2nd and 5th gear. This one is for 3rd gear. And you can actually see it broke a big hole in there. These pistons ride in this case. Now they typically break for 2 reasons. One is this case bore wears out. This piston moves just a little bit, and it's not much, but it's enough for the fluid to leak past into the wrong area, and then the computer sees a problem and elevates line pressure to try to correct that problem. When it elevates the pressure, that's when it overstresses these pistons and breaks them. So a couple things we need to do to correct that. Of course, new pistons. We do some work in the valve body, and we put what's called a systems correction kit in. That kit has blow-off valves in it that blow off this excess pressure to keep this from happening again. And since this bore is worn out, we have to go in, remove this sleeve, and re-sleeve it again to get our tolerance tight. We've got our normal wear and tear parts. We have 3 bands in this transmission. 2 of these are burnt, and the reverse band here, you can see the material's flaking off, so we need to put that in. I typically install an overhaul kit with all the wet multi-disc friction plates. There's a few different sets in the transmission. Put all those in. Update any bushings or these replaceable sleeves that are needed inside the gears and shafts and things. This is called the overdrive sprag. It's a one-way mechanical clutch. I replaced the sprag. It does a very important job, and they wear out quite frequently too. Those I put in all the time. This is called the flow control valve, part of that systems correction kit. It's a very important part, and yours is wore out. It's almost sticking right now. I can just feel it. So that, I don't know if it was ever replaced before, but it needs it now. One other main component we replaced is the torque converter, the coupler between the engine and the transmission. This shares fluid with the transmission. It's constantly pumped through here. There's also a big clutch in there, a big piece of friction like these. It's a welded shut component. We buy these from a local company that remanufactures them. They cut them open, put a new clutch in. There's thrust bearings in here and some other components. They freshen everything up, clean it all out, new friction material, weld it back together, and then rebalance it. And so you have a nice new piece there. I replace the solenoid pack on every one of these that I do. They're notorious for the circuit board breaking and one of the solenoids to wear out. So they have 2 major issues that cause problems. So I put a brand new one in every unit of these that I do, and it helps for longevity and trouble-free operations.
Plus all those metal filings get plugged up in there too.
Yeah, plus the solenoids and electromagnet will draw in all that metal contamination. So we have a few issues. So then there's some updates to the valve body that I do. Update a couple valves. The systems correction kit, we change a couple springs. One's notorious for breaking. The other ones we're alternating the pressure. One of them I'm changing the pressure for the clutch and the torque converter, so that lasts longer. It has a little firmer lockup. And then I check for some other wear and tear in there. But at this point, I think I got everything handled. So.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Thank you.